Hello friends, I am Professor Sunita SHIRSAT. You are most welcome in my channel once again. If you like my channel, please subscribe it. If you like my video, please share it with your friends. Give it likes. Today we have new topic, literary criticism. Actually, topic seems to be very difficult, but it's so easy because it's a part of pragmatism, and we are going to learn practical criticism. That means how to criticize any literary passage. Okay, literary criticism is the study, discussion, evaluation and interpretation of literature. Literary criticism is the evaluation of literary work. This includes the classification by genre, analysis of structure and judgment of value. Okay, actually, in my own words, literary criticism is an attempt to evaluate, to understand the creative writing, the literature of an author. Literature includes plays, essays, novels, poetry, and short stories. Literary criticism is a description, analysis, evaluation, or interpretation of a particular literary work or an author's writing as a whole. Literary criticism is usually expressed in the form of critical essay, in-depth book. Reviews are also sometimes viewed as literary criticism. Why do we use literary criticism? Literary criticism is act of interpreting literature. Authors present us with work that can have multiple meaning, expecting to consider thoughtfully, to interpret. Writers and critics build on each other's understanding of work of literature in a kind of dialogue. Noted authors often have a body of criticism attached to their work. Critics evaluate and debate the ideas of fellow critics. Good criticism can also help us to develop a better understanding of work. It can help us develop a point of view about a work, whether or not we agree with the opinion of the critic. As you work with literary criticism in your writing, it is important that you incorporate your own reactions and points of view. Why is criticism important for students? Actually, criticism is not a so easy work. It's a difficult work, but it's also important for students. As a reader of literature, you may find the views of others very helpful in developing your own interpretation. When you write an essay about literature, you will also find criticism helpful for supporting your points. But criticism should never substitute for your own original views. Only in very rare cases would an assignment require you to summarize a critical work without including your interpretation of literature. Besides being useful, very good literary criticism can be fun in itself, like listening to and participate a live discussion among friends. By regarding the critic, you add yet another point of view to yours and the authors. To further explain, literary criticism helps us to understand what is important about the text, its structure, its context, as it is social, economic, historical, what is written in that particular work. Also, we can understand how the text manipulates the reader. And there's also more things. Literary criticism helps us to understand the relationship between authors, readers, and text. The act of literary criticism ultimately enhances the enjoyment of our reading of the literary work. Now we are going to learn about practical criticism, which is based on pragmatism. Practical, that means one should criticize literary work in his own or particular way. Practical criticism is that exercise in which you are given a poem or a passage of prose or sometimes an extract from a play that you have not seen before and are asked to write a critical analysis of it. Usually you are not told who wrote the poem or passage, and usually too you are not given any indication of what you might look for or see. We are going to study five paradigms of literary criticism. First, it's formalism. Second one is traditional, that's a historical. Third one is feminism. Next one is psychoanalytic, and last one is archetypal, that's mythical criticism. When you try to criticize any literary work, what points you should remember? That means those points will be helpful to criticize literary work. In what way one should criticize literary work? Here are some points and remember them. First, read it carefully. Okay, that means when you have been given any prose passage, please read it carefully. Second one is get the idea of passage. That means you should know if their writer succeeds or not in conveying it. Okay, that means first of all you should read the passage. Second one, you have to find out what is the idea of the passage. That's a central idea, that means what is given in that passage, and by this you will know if the narrator is succeed to convey his idea or not. Third thing is there, study the style. Why? Because you should know whether the style is suitable to the idea or not. Okay, that means one should study the style. There's styles of writer. Some styles are formal, neutral, then informal. In what way narrator has present his thoughts, his ideas? One should study the style. Then study the vocabulary. Studying vocabulary is very necessary. Finding out words, the parts of speech, verbs, that means action static, nouns, adjective, etc. It will be useful for expressing your own ideas. Next one is monosyllabic words. One syllabic word is called monosyllabic words, multisyllabic words or foreign sources. And next one is the word order of the sentence should be studied. In most cases, the writer makes change in the order by which he means something for emphasis. For example, T.S. Eliot has criticized passages, okay, and in that passage he has given context. That means first of all there's introduction, that means name of the prose, narrator, that means its author, then context, in what context that work is written is also necessary, and then there's explanation, that means criticize the passage. Okay, and last one is their conclusion, that means if the narrator is succeed in conveying his idea or not. Thank you.